I'm upset. It is I, your guy, Phil, three times Peters. I'm here with my co-host to the left of me, right of me, Ryan Travel. Ryan, go ahead.
Hey man, I'm back. It's been a while. Um, been a couple weeks. I think we took a 2 week hiatus there. A lot's happened. We got a lot of news to get into. Both Notre Dame and Michigan were popping commits. So it should be a lot of fun to get into.
Absolutely. Yes, Notre Dame picked up a couple 4 stars actually, right? That's exciting.
Yep, two
You guys
two
moved
four
up,
stars and a 3 star.
right? And in terms of 24/7's rankings, you moved up to number 3 for a second, back down to number 4. I believe Ohio State passed you again. But
Yeah,
in other people's rankings, you guys are 2, 3. So very
yeah.
good
On
for
three has us at I believe 8. So that's kind of where I go off of right now because they don't give you extra points for having more commitments. They kind of like
recruitment.
average it out. So I like on three a lot more. But Notre Dame will pass Ohio State on 24/7 on June 24th, I believe, when Tay Johnson commits to Notre Dame, which is looking like all indicators is that he will, the 4 star safety, top 150 athlete out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, looking like he's going to stick with the Irish.
Nate, we're gonna touch on this actually. So today we're gonna talk a little bit about Notre Dame and Michigan commitments that they've had since the last time that we were live. Then we're gonna talk about um, what else was it? We some EA the game, the
Yep.
NCAA football game. There's some holdouts there. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk Elite 11. And of course, that's going to lead us into Jaden Davis and that traitor CJ Carr, um, all of that. So we're going to get to it for sure. I think someone is about to enter my studio unannounced. All right. Anyway, uh, so so let's kick it off right there. You guys picked up a 4 star running back, Kedron Young,
Yep. He's a
four
top
star.
120 running back out of Lufkin, Texas. Uh, I was watching his highlights the other day when we were doing our gold standard episode. Um, if you just watch his highlights, he is like Audric Estime, but faster. He's like, in every single play, he breaks at least 3 tackles. And I'm not even joking. Like, you go watch the
Right.
on three tape, this kid is breaking tackles left and right. His speed is immense. And anytime you can pull a kid out of Texas, I mean, especially a top 120 kid out of Texas, that's a big get. Um, Notre Dame might have the best running back room in college football once
I
they
want you to
get.
stop it.
Hey,
See, here we go,
hey
man.
man.
We've been back 10 minutes, and already you you
I mean,
can't
who else has
fix
it
that.
better? I mean, in terms of skill level.
Michigan.
Okay, let me break this down for you. We got Audric Estime, who's in the lead back. We just got a former 5 star recruit and Devin Ford, who transferred in from Penn State. We also
You,
got,
you know why he transferred him from Penn State?
because Nick Singleton's a beast, and he wasn't going to
All
beat out Nick Singleton.
right.
Uh, and then we got Jabron Payne, we got Jadarian Price back, both from injury, who are studs. We
He's
got
busted.
Jeremiah Love
Yes, he
sitting in the
has.
wings. And then now you add Aeneas Williams and uh Kedron Young to that mix. I mean, top to bottom, who's got a better running back room?
Let me spell it for you.
Don't say Michigan because the backup for
Michigan.
the backup, the third stringer for you guys last year was god awful. The guy who came in when
So
Corum and Edwards came
so
out.
look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like my guy Antoine saying, a lot of those guys haven't proven anything. We don't know how good they are, right? We know how good Blake Corum is. We know how good Donovan Edwards is, and on your side, we know how good as Idris
Estimate.
as Estime. I was about to call him Esme. I watch. Never mind. Estime. We know how good he is, right? We know how good the other guy is, but
Devin Ford,
after
yeah.
that, it's a bunch of question marks. right? I could say we got Cole Cabana, 4-star running back, in-state running back, fast, super fast, right? He's a little banged up right now, but
Mhm.
we got him. The thing is, of the proven guys in the backfield, Michigan has the best running back room, period.
Yes, I would agree the top two, but I'm going based off of depth and what I think guys can be. And
Right.
I'm not saying Michigan doesn't have the best running back duo in the country. Obviously, it doesn't. It's not even close. But what I'm saying is like the third stringer for Michigan, who
Yeah.
came in last year. I can't remember his name, but me and Lucas were talking about it during that Illinois game. Dude was
Right.
straight trash. I mean, I'm sorry. Like,
First of all, I need you to put some. First of all, in all due respect to Gash, who just had career-ending knee surgery, who actually in that Illinois game caught the most important fourth down pass in the game. Right? No joke. He
uh,
set up the field goal that won the game, or else we'd probably be having a different conversation right now. So shout out to Gash, and prayers to him and his family, speedy recovery, and I hope his life is, you know, prosperous after this. Obviously, he won't be able to play football again, so that's unfortunate. However,
mhm.
the week before, he had a monster game. Like, Michigan has guys. All right, we're gonna be just fine.
I was just meaning because like we know how good that Michigan offensive line was, and
Right.
me and Locust were just kind of laughing about like you look at when Edwards came out and Corum came out, how the run offense kind of became stagnant in that Illinois game. At least I don't know too much about like outside of other games, but when you have an offensive line that is that good, I mean, me and Lucas were like running back the tape that during that Illinois game. There were
Right.
holes. There were huge holes for this man to run through, and somehow
Yeah.
he's getting tackled in the backfield for a 3-yard loss. And I'm like, dude, like, come on. Like I don't know if he was one of those guys that likes to dance around in the backfield too much, but I'm sure he was a younger guy. But like, come on, man, like,
Man. So I mean, I'm gonna concede that in that game nobody played extremely well. Blake Corum played pretty well, but he obviously had the season-ending injury in that game. Um, but other than that, nobody played well. We both can agree on that.
but I will give credit to Illinois though. Illinois had the number one defense in the Big Ten, so I mean that you got to give credit to Illinois where it's
Illinois
due.
came to play. I'll give them that. They came to play. I didn't expect the game to be that close. Some things happened, whatever.
Yeah.
We passed the test though, is the bottom line.
But
Uh
other than that, like, yeah, I mean, Trajan Young is a beast.
right.
Just flat out, like I said, anytime Notre Dame or Michigan can pull a kid out of Texas, I
It's
mean,
a
and
it's a
especially kids that have Texas offers, I mean,
right.
that's a big deal.
Well, Texas is definitely flush with talent. They're right with talent, especially at the running back position, at the quarterback position. These are positions that they produce all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so to get a top flight running back out of Texas, like you said, it is a big deal. Speaking of top flight running backs out of the state of Texas, Taylor Tatum, the number one running back in the country, will be taking an official to Michigan on the 23rd, the weekend of the 23rd, which is the last weekend before the dead period. Hopefully, Michigan can make some things shake. I do believe right now, according to USC insiders, he is a lean to USC right now. Before that,
Please don't
though,
go to
Michigan
USC.
held the
Please,
only crystal ball. So we'll see what
please don't go to
happens.
USC. Please don't go to U. I'd rather him go to Michigan than USC. Please, please.
Speaking of USC, did you happen to see the Big Ten schedule for 2024?
I did not.
So
Tough.
Michigan plays USC um,
Ooh.
at USC, I believe. Right, in the comment section, let me know that game at USC. Right. Apparently, too, and I don't know if I like this. USC or UCLA will not play road games like past November 17th or something like that.
What?
Yeah, it's kind
So
of,
wait,
which
what
I
about
guess
they play
only
Notre
leaves
Dame?
really 2 weeks.
They play
No, I'm
Notre
talking
Dame
about
sometimes in
in the Big
November,
Ten.
though. Oh, in the
In
Big
the
Ten.
Big Ten.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of funky, but I guess it's still like the last like 2 weeks of the season, so it's not a huge deal, but it still gives them a little bit of an advantage.
I love how USC is complaining about travel when Notre Dame every single year travels the most out of any college football team for games. So I think that's a little funny, but I mean,
That's a fact.
what, we got to go to Ireland. We got to go to Ireland the first game of the year.
That's right. We got 23 people in the live right now. Make sure you share this, tweet, tell your friends about it. We're going.
Let me just say
anyway.
this, Phil. You better blow the hell out of USC. Blow them out in 2024.
Oh, 2024. We're not worried at all. Caleb Williams will be long gone by then. And we're just not worried. They don't play defense like my guy Antoine said. We're not worried about USC. USC has other issues to worry about, like winning.
Winning their like they can't even win the Pac-12. They're running because they can't win the Pac-12, so they're going to go try to win in a better conference.
That's not going to happen. Can't imagine why we would go to USC over Michigan. USC dumped the kid over another back. Exactly. I agree, Chris. I agree 100%. Michigan has been courting this guy like he's their number one guy, even when we got Jordan Marshall, who is a quality running back out of the state of Ohio, 4-star out of the state of Ohio. We're still after Tatum like he's the apple of our eye, and it would be a travesty if he left us at the altar for USC. But
I'm honestly surprised Notre Dame never went after him. I don't know if he's maybe just not a Notre Dame kid. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so from what I heard, actually what I heard is that he had an ex whose initials were ND, and so he would never consider Notre Dame anyway.
Is that for real?
That's a fact.
Well, you know what's odd?
Like, it's not at all.
It's kind of like Marquise Lightfoot. Like, I don't know if you know how involved Michigan is in his recruitment.
Right.
You'd be the go-to guy on that.
I
but
agree,
Marquise Lightfoot,
and we'll talk about that in a second.
Marquise Lightfoot is, he's a kid. He's a Chicago kid, kind of like Justin Scott. He's a top 60 player. He's an edge guy. To me personally, I think he might have a higher upside, and I'll get hammered.
Than Justin Scott?
No, not Justin Scott, because they play two different positions. But I'm saying, like, I kind of like Marquise Lightfoot's upside better than I like Elijah Rushing's, and I love Elijah Rushing.
Man, I like Lightfoot, man, and we are actually leading for his teammate Amarian Stewart, and I thought, it doesn't even look like Michigan has been really going hard for Lightfoot.
That's the same thing. Like Notre Dame and Michigan, like there was an article that came out because he released his top 5, I believe, right. And everything's trending towards Ohio State, and the stuff is like Notre Dame and Michigan had articles come out about him, and they both said that they both haven't been really recruiting him since December. Right. So I don't know if he's got something off the field. I don't know if it's something that I don't know, because Notre Dame's recruited kids that are NIL all the way still, but so I don't know what it's got to be something off the field. And Notre Dame and Michigan, two Midwest schools, are cooling off. I mean, I don't get it.
Right. You see Antoine's comment here.
Illegal.
They're afraid, Twan.
Nobody's afraid.
They don't want to join the Big Ten. Oh,
we want our money. We want our money. Give us our money.
We want our money. You guys getting like $15 million a year right now. But anyway,
we just demanded NBC give us 75. So
are they going to do it?
NBC, it's in negotiations. That's where it's kind of like
they're not going to do it.
Well, the guy that owns NBC is going to be our new athletic director, right?
Oh, that's
and he's very pro. Right there. He's very pro joining the Big Ten and very pro NIL. So Notre Dame probably to the Big Ten in 2024.
For sure. Antoine, shout out to Antoine, man. He just pointed something out. You guys, Notre Dame is doing a good job of recruiting for Michigan this year, and I appreciate you for it.
Here we go.
Um,
let
you
me
guys
get
are
into this really quick, Phil, because obviously you guys, he's a 4-star, I believe now. When he originally committed Notre Dame, I believe he was like a high 3-star. So Owen Wafel, he's a defensive lineman.
he's a beast is what he is. You put some respect on his name.
He is a beast. I really like him as a player. He's got that like grindstone mentality like that. He's got that dog in him, as Deion Sanders likes to say.
Right. Coach
but
Brown.
the thing with him in Notre Dame is that, when Notre Dame this is legit. When Notre Dame got commitments from Logan Thomas and Cole Mullins, and kind of got a hint that Sean Sevillano was going to commit, Wafel can't play pure nose. And so when Notre Dame already has 3 edges, 2 of whom can play either edge or defensive end, it kind of like left, there wasn't really too much room. And then, Notre Dame's also trying to get Elijah Rushing, trying to get Justin Scott. So it wasn't necessarily that, hey, like Notre Dame didn't want him, but it was more of like what Wafel fits. Notre Dame has 3 other guys that can do.
Right.
And then he called Marcus Freeman and he expressed interest in going to take an OV to Michigan. Well, Notre Dame has a policy where if you are a committed prospect to Notre Dame, the minute you take an official visit to a different program, your offer is pulled and your scholarship's taken away, and you're viewed as a decommitted prospect. That's how Notre Dame's been under Marcus Freeman. So that's where the whole parting of ways thing came, because he called and said, hey, I want to take an OV to Michigan. He said, all right, go ahead, but your offer's taken. So that's what happened.
That sounds like bad business.
I mean, I kind of think of it like if I'm in a relationship with somebody and you say you're committed and you want to go taking it, like I want to go check out this other person, like it's kind of like a disrespect thing. Like,
see, I would be with you if this was like, I don't know, professional, right? Or these were grown men we're talking about. But these are kids who are only going to get to experience being recruited like this one time, really, unless, they jump into portals for whatever reason. And even then, it's not going to be the same. So I think the kids, if they want to take all of their official visits, should be able to take all of their official visits and not have to worry about, some coach getting a little jealous or whatever. That sounds, I don't know. That's kind of creepish.
That's what Marcus Freeman tells these kids. It's kind of like when Justin Scott was going to commit. That was publicized. All of us know that when he set that commitment date in January, Scott's even admitted himself. Like Scott even said that, hey, I was going to commit to Notre Dame. The reason he didn't was partially because of the Georgia offer, the phone calls he had with other coaches, but also the fact that the night before his decision, Freeman called Justin Scott and said, hey, do not commit to us unless you are 100% sure that you're not going to want to go take official visits. And he told him the policy, which is why he, pushed it back. So that because part of why Freeman does this is because Notre Dame's been screwed over in the past by commitments. We saw it with the guy that ended up going to play receiver for you guys in 2020. What was it? Amorion Walker. He was committed to Notre Dame, but is saying all the right things, goes to take an OV to Michigan, and then flips like right before National Signing Day. Guess what? Notre Dame was screwed. We got left at the altar. We had no other options. It was already National Signing Day. Right. So Freeman has this policy, whether you like it or not, is to protect Notre Dame from that scenario happening again.
Yeah. No, I mean, I understand that. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I understand. I get it. But again, like I said, these are children at the end of the day, kids, whatever, who only get this opportunity once. It'll be a shame for them to, commit to Notre Dame, not ever take officials somewhere else and then wonder, what if for the rest of their life. So I don't know. It's just a personal opinion of mine.
As a
I don't
recruit
necessarily like it,
as a
but
recruit
I
thing, I
also
don't like it.
understand what Marcus Freeman is doing.
Yeah, as a recruit, I can understand why that would kind of be a turnoff. But as a football, like if I was a football coach, I kind of understand from that point of view. But either way, you guys are going to get a stud. You guys are getting a stud. I have nothing bad to say about Owen Wafel. The kid is a stud, and nothing. Wish him the luck in the Maize and Blue
for sure. And you guys didn't want to give him any syrup as.
you guys got a Waffle House in Michigan?
You know what? Is there a Waffle? I don't know. I don't go to Michigan like I used to. I used to be in Detroit quite a bit, but family has moved around, so I don't know. But anyway, everybody's favorite Notre Dame fan is here, other than Ryan, of course. Michael, Dallas fan, and DC Campbell says Notre Dame just hired an NBC executive, Pete. I'm not even going to attempt that last name.
Bavacqua.
He's a Notre Dame alumni. Bavacqua. That sounds. Is he French? Bavacqua. What is that?
I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's probably French. But Notre Dame isn't getting $75 million. Laughing emoji, clown emoji. 3 of these 3-star or 3-leaf clovers. So, as Ryan pointed out, Bavacqua is actually a fan of joining the Big Ten. So, you guys can get your $75 million if you join the Big Ten.
It better be over 75. It better be like 100 something.
Nah. See, because y'all made us wait, we think about giving y'all about 75.
No, man, but like seriously, like,
I don't know. But so really somebody brought up a good point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really quick, I was just gonna say, like, Jack Swarbrick was a very old school AD in terms of like his mindset. He thought of NIL originally as like a dirty concept, which is why Freeman's kind of been recruiting with a hand tied behind his back when it terms of NIL.
Right.
But this Pete Bavacqua guy is a guy that I think can kind of turn Notre Dame into what modern college football is. He is a very pro NIL for recruits guy. He said that publicly. He's a very pro getting with the times type of guy, like evolving a program. And he's spoken multiple times because he's the guy that actually got – people don't know this. He was the main negotiator that got the deal done between the Big Ten and NBC.
Mm.
So this guy knows what he's doing. He knows business. Yes. So he's very pro Notre Dame to the Big Ten as well. So I don't know if it'll be 2024, but this is the start of, Notre Dame joining the Big Ten for sure.
Yeah, he is diehard on Notre Dame being independent. No more discussion. Well, Ryan just said something to the contrary of this, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, independent. That's a 20th century concept, sir. We're in 21st century.
I mean, look at the teams that are independent right now.
It's like UMass. UMass. Is UConn independent?
I think no. Wait, yeah, they are.
Yeah, UMass and UConn and Notre Dame.
And don't forget Army. Army's Army's going to join a conference.
Right. That's not the kind of company you want. You want to keep UMass and UConn.
And then you got Army, Army might end up being in a conference as well, which is kind of sad.
That is kind of sad. So really quick, let's go over this EA Sports NCAA football game that's supposed to release for the 2024 season. Apparently, there are some holdouts. What do you know about that, Ryan?
1 second.
While Ryan is doing what he's doing, I want to remind everybody to hit the like button, share, comment, leave your comments down here if you have comments. Be sure to follow the channel or subscribe to the channel, Maize Madman, I will be delivering content on a more regular basis now.
All right,
Things
I'm
have
back.
calmed down in my personal life. All right, Ryan. So what do you think about it?
Um, well, the main thing I've heard in the article that was released by On3 about it was some players, I believe they didn't name the players, but a lot of players, because it's been reported that EA is offering every player that wants to be in the game $500 for their
Mm-hmm.
likeness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now the College Football Players Association that was put together a couple years back when NIL was first introduced. A lot of them have had discussions about boycotting the game because they're not. It's not that they don't think $500 is worth, getting their likeness out in the game. But what these players are
Right.
worried about is that like players like Caleb Williams, like a Drake May, Sam Hartman's name was mentioned, JJ McCarthy's name was mentioned. The players of those types of guys' caliber wanting more, and EA giving them more money because they are, Heisman caliber players, top talents in college football right now. And EA has said that they're not going to do that, but we know how much USC fans or say Michigan fans, I'm sure Michigan fans would be upset if they bought the game and JJ McCarthy is not in there
Right.
because he didn't want to do it. So that's where
Right.
the issue lies. Is there's a lot of concern from other players that aren't at the caliber of those guys I mentioned, not getting the same amount of treatment.
So, man, that is an interesting point. In the comment section, what do you guys think about that? Should a player the status of a Caleb Williams be paid differently than some offensive linemen from Oregon State, from EA for their likeness in the college football game? Let me know what you guys think. This is an interesting point, and this is one that I think um, this is one that I thought would come up. I think that if a player like Caleb Williams negotiates something for Caleb Williams, then more power to him, and it should happen, right? It should be allowed. And if that, random offensive lineman from Oregon State gets $500 and is only able to negotiate $500 for himself, then that be what it is. At this point, that's what the NIL is partially in place for, is so you can, make money off your name. And if your name isn't worth what Caleb Williams' name is worth to EA, then, so be it.
And then on the other side of it, guys like Joe Milton, guys like Mike Wright, who is now the starting quarterback at Mississippi State. He was the star quarterback at Vanderbilt this past year. And other guys like that are kind of, good quarterbacks. They're good college quarterbacks. Have spoken out about this and said that, they get their NIL money. Every player gets their NIL money, whether that be Caleb Williams or Drake May. They obviously make tons of money off of that in general. And Mike Wright and Joe Milton said, "Hey, we'd be in the game for free because we grew up playing NCAA. We love NCAA. We just
Right.
want the game back." He's like, "Hell, you could
Right.
give me $20 and I'd be okay with it." So I get all sides of it, but in my mindset, it's like because if you think about what Madden does through the NFLPA,
Right. Yeah.
Madden pays the NFL Players Association,
Right.
but the NFL players don't get paid to be in the game. The Players
Right.
Association does. So I guess I'm looking at it as like even professional athletes for the NFL don't make any money off of their name and likeness for Madden, why should these kids be complaining about getting $500 a piece?
Man. See, so I'm a guy that thinks that like just because it's good for one business doesn't mean it's going to be good for another business. And that's kind of my like motto in life, and not just with business, right? Like baby boomers said, hey, work hard and get a job, and then live in these cookie cutter neighborhoods and whatever, right? And like that was the American dream for them, for those people that were born during that time and whatever, right? And our generation, or the generation after mine, or whatever, like they have a completely different way of thinking, right? People are making millions of dollars off of YouTube, for instance, right? And not necessarily getting up, going to a 9 to 5, marrying the person that, or the stay-at-home wife. Nobody really is a stay-at-home wife anymore. All I'm saying is I bring all of this up to say, what's good for one person and one model, one company's model, it doesn't have to necessarily be the same for the next. And for instance, with this NCAA game, and with NIL, these kids are just now getting money for the NCAA, that has made billions of dollars, when you think about it, off of the backs of kids for years. Right? This isn't something that's new. They didn't just start selling jerseys last year or the year before. They've been selling jerseys forever. They've been selling tickets to these events forever. They've been selling concessions at these games forever. So, and the kids haven't been getting paid. You know what I mean? They may get some dollars under the table, but then when they find out about it, they want you out of here, and they want you to give back your Heisman Trophy that you earned. They want you to, you know what I mean? Like, so it's all crazy to me. And so now that the kids can make money off of their name, allow the kids to make money off of their name. If the model is $500 and EA says this is what we're going to do, and some kids opt out, fine. However, if the model is, it's a base of $500, but somebody like JJ McCarthy can make $30,000, then great for JJ McCarthy. Sam Hartman can make $40,000, great for Sam. Caleb Williams can make $100,000, great for Caleb Williams. I'm just saying, the NCAA didn't do a great job of putting parameters around this NIL thing. So until they come up with something, until the conferences decide to do something, then it's a open market, and everybody should get what they can get.
That's where I'm kind of like, because I've always been pro NIL. Now, do I like how it's necessarily used in terms of like, pulling kids away from other schools and stuff like that? No. That's not what it was intended to be. But in terms of what, the EA college football game, I think of it like this. EA is kind of in a spot where they're screwed right now. If you do this $500 model and they stick to it, then you're risking, the Caleb Williams, Drake Maize, the Sam Hartmans, the JJ McCarthys opting out of the game. But if you make special offers to, kids like that, then you're going to get opt-outs from kids that are at lower levels. That's probably what's going to happen. So you're kind of screwed if you do, and you're screwed if you don't. So I'm almost kind of like with you, Phil. If I'm EA, I come up with a number, whether that be 500, whether that be 1,000, whatever, and tell these kids, hey, you want to opt out? That's fine. You just won't be in the game. Like that. That's what I think they have to do, because either way, you're going to have somebody's upset. You can't make everybody happy in college football right now. You've got many differing opinions, as you've heard from what I've said. That's been reported. There are guys that are willing to be in the NCAA game for free. Some guys say, I'll do it for $20. Some guys say 500 is fine. Some guys say it's not fine. So it's like you've got a lot of, like you kind of said, some things work for different people, which is why I think it's like EA is in a terrible position right now. And this is where I think they've had, 4 or 5 years to work on this?
Right.
And it's like, you guys haven't figured this out yet.
Like, this part probably should have been figured out by now, right?
Yeah.
They've had more than that. The last game, I have the last one, 2014 was the last NCAA football game. They've had all that time or at least when NIL was announced and was a go, they've had that time to figure this out, and they've blundered that time. So, I mean, I hear that it's going to be on the same engine this time as Madden anyway, so it may not be what everybody remembers it as. Because when I was playing NCAA football, it was on a different engine than Madden. It was a little better to me, but we'll see what happens. And that's just gameplay stuff. Nobody wants to hear about that. But in terms of getting the money, I think the kids should try to get what they can get.
Let me ask the people who are watching right now.
Let's move on from that though.
Antoine
We got a bunch of different. Yeah. No, go ahead, because we got a bunch of different opinions on this, and I think that's great. It's a lot of people that think there should be a base and nothing else, and some others that agree with what I was saying. But go ahead.
Let me ask the comment section. This is Antoine. Said screw them if they want to be greedy, just make a generic player. You can do that, but I don't know if with how NIL and they got sued once before. I don't know if they'll legally be able to add a create a player or edit. But me personally, I look at it like this. Or let me ask them this. Okay, would you guys still buy the game? Like Michigan fans and Notre Dame fans, would you still buy the NCAA football game if it came out in 2024 as scheduled? If J.J. McCarthy, say Blake Corum, is not in the game.
And they just have like some number for them, right?
Like they have the backup quarterbacks, like all the guys that are like the backup quarterbacks for Michigan right now. They have Jaden Davis in the game,
right?
But they just don't have like the stars, the big stars for Michigan right now.
That's a great question. I think I would get it. And here's the other thing about college sports is it unlike in professional sports, it's not like if an NFL game was made and Jalen or freaking Patrick Mahomes isn't on the team, right? If they made a Madden game and Patrick Mahomes was like, no, I don't want to participate, and he's out. Because in college sports, it's going to be a different guy every few years anyway. You know what I mean? So eventually, JJ's not going to be on the game anyway. So it may even turn out to be a collector's edition if somebody like Caleb Williams or JJ McCarthy decide to opt out. You'd be like, oh, this is the one where, they didn't have Caleb Williams on it or JJ McCarthy or whoever else, right? So I think, you gotta, and that's part of the problem with trying to come up with an NCAA model too, is that these guys are going to be different every couple of years.
And like, I even think about it this way. I almost wonder if EA should do it with how they do business with the NFL, where they go through the NFLPA instead of the players individually. Because in terms of like how I'm thinking of it is like, hey, if Caleb Williams wants more money and EA doesn't want to deal with it, like, right, they don't want to have to be the ones to negotiate, why not let the Players Association do that? Like, why not pay the College Football Players Association, let them spread whatever money, like say EA gives them like $1 million or something and says, hey, split that up between every college athlete or football athlete at your own discretion. Like, I kind of wonder if that model would work a little better, but I still don't know if kids would still be, instead of people being mad at EA, they'd be mad at the Players Association, which might start more stuff. So it's a very complicated issue.
Yeah. No, for sure, it definitely is. Let's move on, though. We've been talking about video games for a minute now. Let's move on to something more pertinent, and that is that Michigan's going 12-0. All right, no, that's not what it is actually, but that is the truth, and we're gonna win the Natty. We wanted to touch on, first of all, rest in peace to the kid Ryan. You sent me
Mm-hmm.
The Arkansas
Deion
commit,
Stutz.
who is only 17 years old, passed away. So rest in peace to him, and prayers to his family. It's such a sad situation, and he never even got to play college football or live out his dream. So again, rest in peace to that kid. Um, but let's the last segment. What was that?
What was what?
The the last segment we were going to touch on.
Oh, God, why am I blanking on this?
And
Well,
might
we had
be
a few more. We had a few more recruits we had to touch on. I know that.
Oh yes, and I
Oh,
will talk
Justin
about
Scott. Justin Scott. Justin Scott was the one.
Justin Scott, the future Michigan commit,
Oh, okay.
who loved his official visit to Michigan. 5-star defensive lineman out of St. Ignatius in Illinois and Chicago. Basically, all signs are pointing to Michigan.
That is not true.
It's not. It's not true. In fact, Notre Dame is considered to be a leader for him, along with Miami. He
And
did
Georgia.
enjoy his visit to Georgia as well, so they're in the mix. What do you think, Ryan? Where do you think he ends up?
We were just talking about this too on the gold standard. You know, to me, Justin Scott, his recruitment has been Notre Dame's to lose for a very long time. Obviously, we all know that he, like he said himself, was going to commit to Notre Dame in January. So,
Right.
how I look at it is, if it was Notre Dame in January, I mean, at that point, I believe his top, like his final schools back then was Notre Dame, Oregon, Michigan, Ohio State, and I think Texas A&M. I think,
Right.
and Notre Dame was picked between all of those anyway. So I look at it now, and obviously 3 official visits have happened since then. Georgia, his visit to Miami, and now Michigan. It looks like he's going to take his official visit to Notre Dame in the fall for the Notre Dame-Ohio State game, which I think if he – and this is what every insider says on 24/7 or on 3. The key for Notre Dame to win this commitment is if Scott can make it through the summer uncommitted.
Right.
If Notre Dame can get Scott, continue keep him from committing to either Georgia, Miami, or Michigan until he gets on that OV for the Ohio State game. Say Notre Dame beats Ohio State. At that point, maybe Notre Dame can lock up that commitment then. That's what a lot of Steve Wilfong wrote an article about it, saying that as well, that the key is to keep him from committing that. And I think you know what, and I will say this, I think Georgia and Michigan getting back into the mix of things for him helps Notre Dame in a way keep that from happening. Because the thing was like trending, he's going to commit to Miami. He's going to commit to Miami. He's going to commit to Miami. Well, since then, what's happened? He hasn't committed to Miami. He's had great official visits to Michigan and Georgia. And I almost think that kind of helps Notre Dame keep them uncommitted for as long as possible, which I think is the goal. And I ultimately think, I don't care if he commits to Miami or Georgia today or next month. I think ultimately on National Signing Day, he's going to be at a Midwestern school because you know how Mama Scott is. And I think that if you look at that, it's going to be Notre Dame or Michigan. So that's what I think right now. Because he went on his official visit to Georgia, and his mom, and his official visit to Michigan, and his mom for both visits was wearing Notre Dame nails. So people are like, yeah, she's very pro Notre Dame. She's very like public about it. Right. So I mean, and like he said multiple times, his mama is very influential in his, very influential in his recruitment. So ultimately, I think it comes down to Notre Dame, Michigan.
And
And also, the reason Scott hasn't had an OV yet with Notre Dame isn't because people like this. I want to get rid of this misconception in the comments. It's not because, oh, he's not going to Notre Dame. It's because he can take an unofficial to Notre Dame much easier than he can to Michigan, because where he lives is a lot. Like, Notre Dame's the closest school to him where he lives, and he's been to Notre Dame like 7 or 8 times already. So, which is the most of any school. So I think that's why he hasn't taken. He's going to take his official visit in the fall.
I don't want you to get some false sense of hope because a kid took a bunch of visits to your school. Look no further than Brian Robinson. And I know Antoine's been waiting for this. Brian Robinson, 4-star edge out of the state of Ohio, has been considered a Michigan lock for many months now. And apparently came out that Kentucky is now in the lead for his services, which would be a shame, right? So, and he's taken several visits to Michigan. He's been to Ann Arbor upwards of 6-7 times. So he just had his official visit to Michigan. So that really means nothing. I want to get to this comment really quick by Mike. What do you mean Georgia blew it? After his Georgia visit, he said that they were pretty much with Notre Dame and Miami. I'm so confused on where you get your information. Am I wrong, Ryan? Did you?
Yeah, that's false. That's fake news. Michigan, I don't know, like the football and hockey guy. He said usually you're not that interested if you don't OV. It's different with certain players because there's a rule on how many official visits you can take. And a lot of times players take those OV to paid places like that they want to go visit. Notre Dame like Justin Scott himself has said that Notre Dame and Miami and Georgia are right now tied for the number 1 spot. I haven't seen any quotes yet from him about his Michigan visit. I'm sure that'll come out.
He loved it. Yeah, he said. Okay. He said the beds were better in Michigan. Everything.
Okay. Well, no, like I'm just saying, like, because he says that Notre Dame doesn't have a shot because he didn't get an OV.
Right.
I don't think I wouldn't.
No, I
wouldn't
agree.
go that far.
That's not necessarily the case. Antoine, yo, you can't say that about the kids, man. He's a kid. Michael Campbell, Georgia just came. His mom and Justin Scott just talking about. She was not happy. I can't. This isn't a coherent statement. I don't know what that's supposed to
Where
say.
did you get this at? Where did you get this at, Michael? I need to know the source.
I don't know what it is even. What did that? You could understand that?
He's saying that his mom didn't like that Georgia came at him with just a full NIL approach.
Got it. All right.
Well, if that's the case, then why is Miami in there? Because Mama Scott
have nothing to offer. Right.
Mama Scott has has already said that she wants her son to go to a top academic institution. Well, 2 of those schools that have offered him are only 2 of them are only in the top 30 academic institutions, and that's Notre Dame and Michigan. So, yeah,
this is a great question, Chris. A couple kids last recruiting cycle picked Kentucky over Michigan too.
Cutter Boley,
one of them was in-state.
Right?
No. Cutter Boley moved his. He's going to be part of the 2024 class. But he did choose. Technically, he chose Kentucky over Michigan. Yes, but Michigan wasn't going to take another quarterback in the 2024 class anyway. So once he, moved that up, it was Michigan's pretty much off the table. But last season there was a 5-star defensive lineman or offensive lineman and a 4-star defensive lineman. The defensive lineman was actually in-state. He was out of Cass Tech. I forget his name. But both of those guys chose Kentucky for whatever reason over Michigan. Now, last year, obviously, Michigan had a lot that they were dealing with the coach, flirting with the NFL and everything else. But
hey, man, Notre Dame just lost a recruiting battle to Duke. So I don't know if you've seen that. Notre Dame lost a recruiting battle for 4-star safety Paul Menke to Duke. So
Okay, so let's not do that. I mean, I get it, Venice. We're not gonna get into the business of name calling in the comment section. though. That would be great. Appreciate it.
I don't know if
Appreciate it.
you heard me though, Phil. Uh, Notre Dame lost a 4-star safety to Duke this past week.
No, I didn't know that. So Duke is snatching Notre Dame commits as well.
Yes, sir. Like, man,
That's
people were on the message boards were going wild. They're like, bro, we really lost a commitment to Duke.
right. Yeah, it's crazy. Let's speaking of commitments and visitors, Michigan had a bunch of top level recruits on campus this past weekend for official visits, including 4-star cornerback Bryce West out of Glenville High School in Glenville, Ohio, which is really an other state factory, right? Ted Ginn Sr. is the coach there or AD there, and he pumps out a bunch of Ohio State commits. And it looks like Bryce West is not going to be any different. However, he did take his official to Michigan, and he was raving about the visit. He is good friends with Michigan commit Jacob Oden, another 4-star defensive back. And it seems like he and Oden, along with Boo Carter, the 4-star out of Tennessee, spent a lot of time together on the visit. And they have built a bond over that time, and even before this visit. So it looks like Michigan may be back. The curtain may be opening a little bit. The door is cracked open for Michigan with West again. In the comment section, what do you guys think? Is Michigan in it with West, or is he an other state lock? Let me know what you guys think. Ryan, how are your official visits going?
Well, Notre Dame's done with official visits as of right now. We had our back-to-back big official visit weekends with, this past weekend was the headliner with, 5-star edge Elijah Rushing. Phil, I think you're freezing up a little bit there. But no, Elijah Rushing, his visit went extremely well. Sounds like Notre Dame has kind of tied themselves for his recruitment with Oregon from everything. But everything and actually what's kind of weird, Notre Dame with Rushing, and you know how they usually recruit, the academics, the 4 for 40. With him, they wanted a different approach. Freeman actually met with Rushing's dad for 4 hours discussing NIL opportunities for Rushing at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's got a new NIL collective going on now through Brady Quinn. So That's what they kind of talked to him about. But all in all, it was a really good visit. But I still think it's a long shot that we get Rushing, just because, he's a South Carolina, or not South Carolina. He's he's an Arizona kid. He really Oregon is really doing a great job recruiting him.
You
but
think
we'll
he
have
ends
to
up with
see.
a Pac-12 team?
I think he ends up at Oregon. Just that's everything that's kind of pointed to right now. And I always kind of come up with this concept. Normally, if you come off an official visit and you're tied with the team that's leading for him, that's usually not a good sign. That's usually like when you get an official visit, somebody on campus, you'd like to become the clear leader, not tie with somebody, because then that means that they can go take another visit somewhere else and repeat that whole process. But Rushing was the big one. Doesn't look like everything looked good. It's just going to be a long shot for us to get him. Notre Dame's still looking for their other two safety commits. Paul Menke was one of them, committed to Duke yesterday.
Where's he from? He's
from Durham, so that's his family are very Duke fans. So
yeah.
Anyway, and then we got Oliver Miles, who's a really good, he's a high 3-star safety from El Campo, Texas. I don't know. I thought we were going to lock him up on his OV. Doesn't look like that's necessarily going to happen. Looks like he's going to drag his thing on. The only real good news we got from this weekend was that Bronte Johnson, I mentioned earlier in the show, he's a top 150 prospect. He's considered an athlete. So he plays receiver and safety. He's from Fort Wayne, Indiana. It looks like Notre Dame kind of locked up his commitment. He's committing on June 24th. And then the other big news for us was we had a unofficial for 2025 4-star quarterback Blake Hebert. And I think Michigan actually recently offered him as well.
Which probably means we'll get him.
He set a commitment date for June 16th. So, wow. And that was right after his Notre Dame visit. People are saying it's Notre Dame. Some people are saying it's Clemson because Clemson offered him a week ago. So, I don't think Notre Dame really is that interested in Hebert. I think Notre Dame's top prospect right now for 2025 quarterback is Deuce Knight, which I don't know if that's even really looking good because Deuce Knight canceled his visit to Notre Dame this weekend.
Man, it's looking like a lot of over there in South Bend, man.
Yes, man.
It's a ghost town in South Bend, bro. What's going on?
Well, if you think about it, like 2024,
spooky hours.
Notre Dame has the most commitments for 2024 right now at 19. When Tay Johnson commits, it'll be 20. So Notre Dame's kind of already done, so to speak, with their 2024 recruiting. So, I'm thinking maybe expect 23, 24 commits for Notre Dame this year. So that's why Notre Dame's kind of moved on to the 2025 cycle, which looks like a lot of hit and missing right now. So
yeah,
it's not looking really good right now.
Man, look, I don't mean to laugh.
Hey, man, that's why Notre Dame just offered like 10 2026 quarterbacks. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, it's looking rough over there right now. But, with some success on the field this year, all of that can change. You know how quickly it can change for you.
Deuce Knight, his big thing is he likes to play in an explosive offense. So Tennessee's looking like the place for him. But, man, Deuce Knight, if he came to Notre Dame, because I love that kid's tape.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a long shot.
We're in a similar situation, right? We have 5-star wide receiver Ryan Wingo on campus for an official visit this past weekend. We are still considered to be a long shot. In fact, Missouri might even have a better chance than us right now, and it's for similar reasons, right? Like kids want to play an explosive offensive, especially if you play receiver, running back, those kinds of quarterback, of course. And Michigan has talked about changing the identity a bit in the offseason, talked about, airing it out a little more and things like that. Of course, we got a 5-star quarterback commit in Jaden Davis, who did drop to 4 stars overall in the composite recently. We'll talk about that if we have time, but
he's getting the CJ Carr treatment.
Yeah, which, that's and that is a good thing to happen right before the Elite 11, because now there are no excuses. You perform or you don't perform along with the other best quarterbacks in the country. So we'll see what happens after this weekend or whatever. So there are no excuses. You either are a 5-star or you're not a 5-star, and now is your chance to prove it. Of course, you do have a senior season as well to prove that, but it'd be good to see it now, if you know what I mean. That being said, Ryan Wingo, I've seen some comments about inquiring about Ryan Wingo. That's where it stands right now. I think Michigan, like I said, they hosted him for an official. That was one that, of all the officials, I got the least amount of information about, and I'm guessing that's because he may be thinking about going elsewhere. In fact, right after his official visit with Michigan, he was tweeting about Missouri. So we'll see how it goes, but might be a long shot. Michigan is in the running, though, for some 4-star wide receivers, including Jordan Shipp and Amarian Stewart. So, and I think they'll grab both of them, if not one for sure.
You know, Antoine, I can't tell if that comment up at the top is being like, what is it called? Making fun of Notre Dame. You know, doing a good job in recruiting. I can't lie. It is not looking good for.
He's better than Carter, for sure.
We'll figure that out at the Elite 11.
Here goes Antoine with his fucking Carr love. I actually think Carr is going to be nice too. Actually, I think he's a good quarterback.
But no,
But he's a traitor.
He's a traitor. Hey man, no, like whatever happened to Ryan Wingo to Notre Dame? I remember just a year ago in the same spot, everybody was crystal balling Ryan Wingo to Notre Dame. You know, him, Cam Williams, and CJ Carr and Jeremiah Love were gonna all team up. Man, that's crazy.
It was all good just a week ago.
Yeah. And then he doesn't.
Ohio State sucks. Yes, they do.
Hey, can we all agree really quick? Like Ohio State fans talking so much trash about recruiting. Like,
oh, you'll get no fight from me here. Ohio State fans are some of the most. They might be the most delusional fan base. Although I gotta say,
Ohio State fans say
Michael Campbell makes it hard for me not to say that Notre Dame fans are the most delusional fan base. But
with the exception of Michael.
The other state fans are out of here. They're at outer space with their,
Bro, they're so delusional. I was getting in an argument with an Ohio State fan, and because all I said, because like they were doo-dooing on you guys. Like,
speaking of Michael Campbell,
Hayes Fawcett posted a thing about Michigan recruiting and said that he hasn't seen Michigan recruiting this hot in a long time.
Right.
And
I saw you jump all over that.
I said
we have to get you.
Don't be starting that rumors about Justin Scott to Michigan. It ain't happening. And then
we had to get you. First of all, he didn't even say Justin Scott's name.
No, I know, but like people because instantly people started thinking about Justin Scott, and that's all you've seen in the comments. I'm like, bro, don't be starting that rumor. And then it's funny because Ohio State fans immediately just jumped in the conversation for no reason. Like, and he just started talking trash to me, and I'm like, dude, I was posting about Justin Scott, and they're like, no, Notre Dame's trash. Why don't you lose to Marshall again? I'm like, dude, why don't you beat Michigan for the first time in 2 years?
Like, it's been almost 1,300 days since we've lost to the other state.
Oh, really?
It's been a long time.
But no,
it's like 4 years.
They were so delusional. Some guy said Notre Dame hasn't had a good quarterback since Jay Cutler. And I'm like, bro, Jay Cutler played for Vanderbilt.
Wow. That's
And then he said something about how Notre Dame hasn't had a single good NFL quarterback. And I said, Joe Montana is better than any Ohio State NFL quarterback ever.
Yeah. No, that's no cap.
Tom Brady's better than any Ohio State NFL quarterback ever. Like, come on,
no
man.
cap in either
like
one.
What Ohio State quarterback has actually done anything in the NFL besides maybe Justin Fields? I mean,
they aren't very good when they get to the league.
You know why? Because they have a bunch of 5-star receivers to throw to.
Right. Let's keep recruiting 5-star wide receivers. Maybe they'll help us beat Michigan. Maybe they'll play some defense for us and make some tackles. That is their logic, though. They're like,
hey, man, we got some
another
Iron Man receiver over here in Ohio State. Yeah, they said our quarterback was trash. They said that Ohio State fans were saying that they said our quarterback was trash and that we were going to go 6-6 this year. And I said, who's our quarterback? You're going to laugh when you hear this answer. Isn't Drew Pine your quarterback?
Wow.
Bro. Ohio State fans live in their own world where there's just 5-star.
I just got a text message from an other state fan who says they were going to super chat, but now they're going to change the channel because we're going in on the other state. That's not a lie. I just got a text message. I would show you it, but I'm not going to do that. sorry. Listen. We tell the truth around here, and other state fan. You got to join the other state Twitter. You see what we were talking about. You probably wouldn't be a fan after
Hey
that.
man, I also had Michigan fans talking trash too, and they're like, "I hope you guys lose to Ohio State." And I said, "Man, why would you wish that on anybody? Like, come on."
Wow, that's rough. Um, so I hope you both lose. If both of you could lose, that would be the dream outcome for me. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen. So I just refuse to pick a winner in that game. What's up with Bryce Underwood? Do you think Jaden Davis might deter us from getting him? I do not, especially depending on what happens with this Elite 11. I think Bryce Underwood is probably licking his chops, especially after he saw Jaden fall from 5 stars to 4 stars. I think Bryce Underwood is, I'm not going to say a Michigan lock. I don't believe that. However, I do think Michigan is in a very good place with Bryce Underwood, and Kirk Campbell is doing a rock star job recruiting quarterbacks. I'll take a couple more questions, then we're going to get out of here. 7:15. Yeah. Underwood will run anyone off the field he definitely doesn't care about. That's a fact. I believe that. I stand next to that. I stand with that. Those are older Michigan fans. Most Michigan fans don't even really care about Notre Dame until it comes to recruiting. Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame isn't at the forefront of my mind unless we're talking about
A
recruiting
lot of
because we don't
people
play them
like
anymore.
Notre
They
Dame fans
opted out of
personally.
the rivalry. So
Notre Dame fans personally, like if you look on all the message boards and stuff, it's like it's the lesser of two evils to root for Michigan than it is Ohio State, which is weird because Notre Dame doesn't even have a rivalry with Ohio State, but we
I
hate Ohio
know.
State more. Like, it's weird.
poor
Like
the other state.
Ohio State fans like are so like it's literally like anytime Ohio State loses, the world wins, except for Ohio State fans. Like it's literally how it is.
Michael Campbell said y'all had a good visit with 4-star
Yes,
linebacker Bradley Shaw.
I forgot to mention him. He's a
Yeah.
top 120 linebacker. Has offers from Alabama and Georgia. Looks like he's going to be.
Okay.
Andrew Tate.
What? So that is a great question, Tribe of Socialites. I think if and this is the worst case scenario for Jaden Davis is JJ McCarthy returns after this season. Michigan signs Bryce Underwood. That is a nightmare scenario for Jaden Davis. I think the best case scenario for Jaden Davis is JJ leave, Jaden become the starter, and then Bryce have to beat out the incumbent starter rather than both of them playing on equal footing after JJ leaves and there be a quarterback competition. That's what I think is the best scenario for Jaden Davis. I think if I'm Bryce Underwood, I don't care either way. I'm better than everybody.
Is he though?
He's better than everybody. Have you seen
I don't know.
Have you seen his film?
I have.
He's the best quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
I think Deuce Knight's better personally, but
Deuce Knight couldn't hold Bryce
hey, we'll see. We'll
Underwood's
get
water
the Elite
bottle.
11 when Deuce Knight and Bryce Underwood go at it.
We'll see.
Oh, he's better than CJ Carr. Just know that now. Okay. Don't disrespect my future national championship winning quarterback like that. Don't disrespect that.
Moto likes you. Thank you, Moto. I've seen tape on both. And what do you think, Michigan? If this Moose, let me know if this is Moose. Underwood is better.
It's got to be Moose. I haven't seen Moose all day.
That's got to be him, bro. Shout out to who was the guy? He came in hot. He was on Antoine's head top for a minute. Venerio, whatever his name is. Shout out to that guy coming in hot. It's the first time he's ever been in the chat. But yeah,
Underwood will bring us a natty. Well, let him commit first.
It's funny when people need attention. Right. Thank you, Antoine. Okay, apparently, this meme lord needs attention, and we're gonna give him some attention. You came to the right place to get attention.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap it up. It was a good show. You guys welcomed me back in a great way. I appreciate it. We
won't go another 2 weeks.
People in the live. We won't go another
2 weeks. Yes.
Make sure you guys like and share this one. Subscribe to not only my channel, but show Week Zero some love. They need some love over there. Tune into their lives.
We're coming out with a JJ McCarthy video this
Bro,
week.
Speaking of JJ McCarthy, when can I get 30 seconds of video for my new intro? I had to release my new intro without the video. You know that, right?
I got you.
People like it anyway.
Bro, I got you. I literally so funny story really quick before we get off. I'm not even joking. I got this new computer because my other one wasn't letting me edit. I figured out what the issue was because I about broke my computer, my brand new one I just got like last week because I was editing and it was like kept freezing when it was exporting.
Right.
I am not joking, bro. I about busted my hand. I threw my computer chair, bro. It was that bad. And then I finally figured out it was something simple why my computers were having issues. And I'm like, dude, I can finally edit now.
Wow.
But I got you. I will actually work on that sometime. What's Wednesday? I'll work on that tomorrow and I'll have it to you. It won't take long.
No doubt. I appreciate it. Until next time, stay angry, my friends. Oh, but before we do that, Ryan, what you got coming up?
But yeah, I got the JJ McCarthy video coming out this week. I got my editor that I hired working on it. So that'll be out this week. Hopefully you guys like it.
Wolverine Scott.
I just released this past week the best of Audric Estime video for Notre Dame fans that are watching. Did a Caleb Williams one. It pained me to do it, but I did it.
I told you, man, you got Caleb Williams. I know you don't like him. But.
I hate him. Damian Martinez video also. He's the running back from Oregon State. That video just dropped this week too. So got a lot of content coming out. JJ McCarthy video this week. We got a Barryon Brown video. He's the stud receiver at Kentucky. That'll be coming out this week too. And then pretty soon, once we get to July, hey man, all the team pump ups are coming up. So Michigan, we got a Michigan pump up coming out. So please tune into that. Notre Dame, obviously, a bunch of other teams. So yes.
Absolutely, man. And thank you to everyone in the comment section again. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys made it a lot of fun this week. And yes, Ric Flair will be making a return. I'm thinking Friday, actually, when Marion Stewart makes his decision. So be on the lookout for that. Until next time, stay angry, my friends. I'm upset.
Go Irish.
Don't.